Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm so excited because today we're going to be chatting about the 10 tips that I have for photographers and growing their Instagram accounts. So hopefully this will translate into more bookings, creating a stronger brand, and overall getting your audience more engaged with you on your Instagram. So stay tuned and we'll get into today's video. And for those of you that are new to my channel, I'm a fine art wedding photographer based in Toronto, Canada. I love doing workshops, I do online mentoring, I have online courses. I love helping photographers become successful and master their craft. I know we're always learning, we're always growing, so I'm just here to help you on your journey. If you have any questions or any topics that you'd like covered in the next video, make sure to leave that below. I love hearing from you guys and reading your comments. So let's get into today's video. Number one tip is using a planning app. So the app that I use is called Preview, which I'll link a picture right here. And it's a great app to lay out your feed. So what I'll do is I'll plan a few days in advance or a week in advance what I want my feed to look like. So I'll already have the post for the next 7 days. And then I can kind of play with it, see where the colors look best, see which picture looks best next to which picture. I know it sounds funny, but it really helps being able to curate your feed by using this sort of app where you can just drag the images around. I try to use a good variety of detail shots, landscapes, portraits. I never want to have two portraits right next to each other, or they can be next to each other, but it needs to be a close-up and a far-away shot. I don't like having two very similar shots right next to each other. So just be aware of your feed and how it's laying out. And if you want to create a really beautiful aesthetic, make sure that you are having that variety in your feed that kind of already tells a story for the bride and groom as they're scrolling through your feed. You really want to create that negative space. So you don't want everything to just be popping right at them. You want those few images to really stand out, and the rest of the feed just guides their eye through the feed and helps those images to pop out. But if everything is really busy in each photograph, they're not going to be able to really see your style and focus in on the photograph and enjoy it. I try to stick with the same color scheme as well. So if I'm using a lot of blushes and whites and neutrals, then I'll make sure to continue that for at least 9 frames. And then after 9 posts, you can change up the color scheme a bit. But for the most part, I really try to stay consistent with my color scheme because I feel like that's a huge part of my brand and my aesthetic and the type of weddings that I want to book. So I do try to keep the blush, the neutrals, try not to post too much greenery because greenery can really take over the feed. But again, every brand is different, so do what's best for your brand and the clients that you're trying to attract. I also try to share my face every 9 posts or so. Sometimes it's a little bit more than that, but usually it's recommended that every 9 posts you share a picture of yourself. And that way when the clients are scrolling through, they're connecting your brand with your face and they're getting a whole feel of who you are and what your personality is. And there's already that connection because they feel like they know you. Number 2 is the highlights. So just below your caption when you have the highlights, I always make sure to include the different highlights of weddings, engagements, and having an about me highlight is really important too. So that way they can click on there, they can see all about you. You have things about your personal life or just behind the scenes of you working a wedding day. I think the more photos and more the clients can learn about you, the better, because again, you're creating that connection, you're creating that relationship, and then in the end you'll have clients that not only book you for your beautiful photos, but they'll book you for you and because of your personality. Number 3 is your profile picture. For the longest time, I always had my logo as my profile picture because I loved how clean it was calligraphy, and it was super simple. But I just realized after I was on Instagram more and more, and after I viewed other people's accounts, it didn't really connect me with my brand. So again, I want everything to come back to me. I want people to know the face behind the brand. I don't want them to have to guess what I look like. So I just made sure to put a clear picture of myself obviously a professional picture, which I think is important, getting some really beautiful headshots done, or even getting your husband or your friend to take some really nice photos of you. And so then that's my profile picture. So now whenever anyone messages me or sees my image pop up, they'll automatically see my face. Number 4 is be specific with your location. So I see a lot of people when I go to their Instagram, they'll just have destination wedding photographer or fine art photographer, whatever, but they don't even list a location. Sometimes I'll click right off of their profile because it kind of bothers me that I don't know where they are. So even if I wanted to reach out to them or if I wanted to work with them, it just makes it a lot more difficult not even knowing if they're located close to me or if they're on the other side of the world. So I think especially as a client is looking through Instagrams, they want to know right away, is this person within my area? Because if not, then what's the point in looking at their work? And if you're making it really hard for a client to find your location, they might just jump off your page before trying to message you. So I think it's important to give those major details right away to the client. So list in your profile the location that you want to serve. Mine says Niagara and Toronto wedding photographer. You can still put destination or worldwide, but make sure that you have the main area that you want to target in that caption, and that way it doesn't leave clients guessing. I also recently changed my name. So at the very top, instead of having Katie Nicole, I recently added wedding photographer, because I realized that when you go to search on Instagram and a bride is searching and they just type wedding photographer, those people that have it in their name are going to show up in their area. People that are searching in Niagara and they search wedding photographer almost likely pop up since I'm located in this area. Otherwise, if I just have my name, Katie Nicole, it looks beautiful and everything, but it won't work as well for the searching on Instagram. Number 5 is website links. So when a client comes to your page, in that little bio section, it should be really easy to find your website. It's the worst when you go to someone's page and they've linked it to a blog feature or blog post that's not even related to their website, and it makes it really hard to find their website. Most of the time, people will probably just give up. They'll click off the page and find somebody else. So I personally think it's really important to never link it somewhere else that's not your own website. Link it to your website, link it to your own blog post, or what you can do is create a page on your website that's for links, and right there you can put a bunch of buttons, which I've done, and that way they can see maybe that feature on Magnolia Rouge or that feature on Wedding Sparrow, but then they're also already on your website. So they're not searching for it, they're not trying to find it. They can already start clicking around, to your contact form, and you're just leading them directly on your website, which is really important. Number 6 is use your description to explain your style. So I know it's easy to just want to put the basics, Niagara wedding photographer, fine art photographer, and even just describe things about yourself, maybe about your husband or your children, but I think it's also important to describe your style for your clients. So I wanted to describe my style. So I talked about capturing weddings in a romantic, elegant, and timeless style. And that way they're already connecting with my brand. So when they start scrolling through the images, they're gonna see that romantic style and already have those words in their mind. I love capturing the fun, joyful moments on a wedding day. I think any way that you can describe your brand and describe your style will help distinguish yourself from all the other photographers in your area. Number 7 is the geo tags. So you can see right here that whenever I make a post, I always try to tag the venue in the post, even if it's just a shot of the rings, or it might not even be at that venue, but I'll still tag local venues. So I always try to tag venues that I want to shoot at, which is in Toronto and Niagara. It doesn't do a lot of good for me to tag places in France or Italy. Once in a blue moon, you might get a booking or an inquiry from there, but I just find for me and where I'm at in my business, I really want those local bookings. So I really try to market to Toronto and Niagara, and I really want the local venues. So Graydon Hall Manor, Langdon Hall, Vineland Estates Winery, Kurt's Orchards. I really want to tag all the venues that I want to shoot at, and that way when clients are looking at those venues, maybe that's a venue they've already chose for their wedding, they can see right away who's already photographed there, and they're most likely to choose somebody that has the experience with photographing there. It was just the other day that I posted a photo of a ring, and the ring was shot in France at my workshop, but I tagged Graydon Hall Manor because you can't really tell where the picture was taken anyways, and that's the venue that I really want to work at. So I just tagged the venue in the photograph, and then I'm not even joking you, I think it was like an hour later, I got an inquiry for that venue. So I literally got an inquiry for that venue within the same hour that I posted it. And in my contact form, it asked where they found me, and sure enough, she put Instagram. So I know that that feed is what helped them find me and send me an inquiry. Number 8 is hashtags. So I'll show a list of my hashtags right here, but I really try to include all the venues that I want to work at, different locations in my area, just a whole variety of different hashtags. Probably 80% of my inquiries come from Instagram, so I know that it's because I do all of these things, not just one of these things on Instagram, but I make sure I do all of them so that way all together it can help grow my Instagram. Number 9 is your captions. So you don't want to be too salesy in your captions. If you're always trying to sell something or letting them know that your next year is booking up and you should book soon, you're not really getting anywhere with those kind of posts. You're not going to have more photographers following you or more brides following you. It doesn't connect your brand very well. So in all my captions, I always try to write something different, and I'm usually talking about my personal life or things that I'm working on. So even today, I was struggling with my website and trying to build a new website. And so I was just very candid in my caption, just letting everyone know this is what I'm struggling with. Do you have any ideas or suggestions? And right away, I was getting so many great comments with people wanting to help. So I didn't do that necessarily to get attention, but all I'm saying is when you connect with people on a personal level, you're gonna get a lot more comments and a lot more engagement with your audience. You don't need to always be saying, oh, my 2021 is booking up, so book soon, or these are the only dates I have left in 2020. Clients will book you when they see your work, when they connect with your brand, not just because you say that you're booking up so quickly and you're high in demand. Show them that you care about people, that you want to connect on your Instagram, and that your Instagram is more than just a business platform, but you're offering something to people, you're adding value to people. And that goes into number 10, is offer value. So maybe on your Instagram, on your link section in your bio where you put your website, you could have a link to a free PDF to brides, maybe on finding the perfect photographer, or 5 top venues in your area that you recommend, or the 5 top florists in your area that you recommend. Offering something of value to people will help them stay on your page. So they'll actually remember you, they'll have that PDF saved somewhere, and maybe they'll keep coming back to it and then eventually even book you because of it. So I think it's important to add value, whether you're adding value to brides and helping them plan their wedding day with a free PDF or a blog post or whatever, or you're targeting photographers and, you know, helping photographers with their business. Either way, that's a great way to grow your platform and get that engagement going again with your audience. And you can also grow your email list through that as well. So maybe if on your website you have a link to a free PDF, you can get them to put in their email first, and that way you're slowly growing your email newsletter list. For me, this has really come in handy with getting people to sign up for my workshops and for my mentor sessions. So it is a great idea to start building an email newsletter list, whether that is directed towards photographers or it is directed towards brides. Let's say you have a bunch of brides emails that signed up to see this free PDF that you have. Then maybe in a few days or in a week or so, you can also offer a discount to all of those same brides that downloaded the PDF. So you can offer them, you know, $400 off your wedding package, or add on an engagement session for free, complimentary. Well, I hope that this video was helpful for you. I hope you learned something new. If you have any questions or any topics that you'd like me to go over next, make sure to post those below. I am hosting a little Zoom mentor session with 6 other photographers that will happen in the next week or 2. I think we have 2 or 3 spots left. So if you're interested in signing up for that, I'm going to be talking about film and how to get started with film and different film stocks, how I rate them, how I meter for them. So I'm going to be going over a lot of different things within that hour, and it's only 6 people, so that way it's a really intimate group, and everybody can kind of ask me questions at the end. So anyways, if you're interested in that, send me a message, send me an email, and we can get you signed up. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next video.